What up, guys? Okay, remove drawings. What up, what up, what up? What's up, Sean? Everything shared up. Okay, I'm going to show you guys all the silly mistakes that I made today. Oh, always happens after a nice winning couple winning trades. Get overconfident, and I'm just going to walk you through the thought process as to like why I ended up making just just the mistake I made, and I just kept chasing the trade, and I'm not really sure why I did. Probably partially because I felt obligated to. I was doing live trading sessions with January Masterclass, and we hadn't taken a trade together all week, and yeah, you end up just putting some pressure on yourself, and yeah, end up paying the price for it. So it is what it is. I mean, c'est la vie. We all take losses, and anybody who's going to tell you they don't, well, they're full of shit, right? So I like to keep it as transparent as possible, just show you what it is that I did wrong, and hopefully you guys can learn from it, right? So no hard feelings. Shit happens. Yes, sir. And the problem with the losses is that I took them because I couldn't capitalize on this. I was at the gym, right? And this is the POI that we had talked about this morning. Tapped in, delivered, you know, it's a 100-hour trade right here that I missed out on. So what did I do? I fought order flow here and said, you know what? Fuck this POI. It can't hold. I don't want it to hold. So I'm going to take a bunch of losses in here because I'm a fucking idiot. And that's what happened. So we'll go over them. And I'll, yeah, obviously, like, it doesn't correlate with the flow chart whatsoever, which is bogus that I even took them, but that's the way life goes sometimes. So remember what I said right at the beginning of, you know, this channel's conception is focus on the pro trend, pro order flow, or pro trend counter order flow trades. Don't focus on the counter trend stuff. Do as I say, not as I do. All that teaching bullshit. But yeah, like, honestly, man, it's, you need 2 or 3 good trades per month, 20 hour piece, 0.5% risk, you're laughing, right? So it's more money than you'll ever make in your goddamn life. I should just take out the counter trend stuff, but there's a lot of times where counter trend is very, very effective. And yeah, today just wasn't one of them, right? So we'll go through that. Everybody understood the order flow video, and just obviously flips is very, very basic, but let me know, number 1 in the comments, number 2 if you don't understood the order flow example around here. Yeah, order flow only shifts based off of relevant POIs to the left, right? Otherwise, order flow remains intact, right? So very, very simple. I'm just going to draw this stuff in now. How to break a structure here, right? So if we have a structure break, can you show if there was an entry at the demand? Sure. What was I doing? 15 boss. There we go. So break a structure. Fucking easy peasy. So where's the lowest point before the highest point? Anybody want to mark that in? No. If we broke structure here, there we go. If we broke structure here, the lowest point, highest point is here, right? So with that being said, so because obviously we're not reacting to anything to the left-hand side, we know that. In order for this to be in order for us to be counter order flow, this level needs to break, right? Like this is the only, if we wanted to take sells, the only valid way that we could have taken them is if this level broke, right? We could look at a strong high then, because structure needs to break to shift order flow in this case. Whereas if we were reacting to supply, let's say we had H4 supply, 15 minute supply, 30, 1 hour, whatever it is, and it correlates with the way that we were looking to trade to begin with, then we could look at this as a shift in order flow when this demand level fails. Okay. Obviously, like there's liquidity concepts that need to be considered, all that kind of fun stuff as well. But just, broadly speaking here, that would, that would be the only logical way. So, I'll just show you, let's go through the demand first. Obviously, we had a, we can refine this probably down to that wick. Okay, so we got demand, right? This is exactly what we talked about this morning in the narrative. Takes liquidity, right? You can see the grab right here, very, very small one, but nonetheless takes liquidity. We're very pro trend, so super, super easy to already explained why I took L. Thanks to, yeah, man. It's, you don't want to, fuck, man. I'm so guilty today because I just didn't follow my fucking rules. And the reason I was able to deviate from my rules on a psychological level, the contributing factors were I wasn't on the charts for this, and that pissed me off. And that's, you know what, man? Don't let me get this twisted whatsoever. Just because I'm here showing you guys what I do, let me tell you, I take fucking stupid losses sometimes too. But I'll be the first to admit them. Don't matter. It's all good. It's all a part of it, right? Like losses are part of the game. They don't define you. Don't let them define you. Cool. So because I missed this, I wanted to believe that this was going to be a strong high for some fucking reason. Think about it. Expectational order flow. More likely for this low, or sorry, this low to go or this high to go first. I mean, it's a fucking no-brainer. This one's going, right? So anyways, it's hilarious how we operate sometimes. And it's just a learning mistake, right? So I'm not going to be logging my stuff with you guys today. We're going to focus on that on Friday. We're going to build a case study together, do all that kind of stuff, but we'll probably build we'll build a case study around a couple different days, just to kind of show you how it is that I do them and how I relate them back to like my EOD markups. But yeah, so we got the flip. Maybe refine that down to the wick if you really wanted to, but it doesn't really matter. So let's look at this because Alfonso wants to see if he could have entered. In SD flip, we don't need to take liquidity. We don't need liquidity to take when we break. Well, like, what do you mean? Like here? Well, didn't we take liquidity here? I'm not quite understanding the question. In SD flip, don't we need liquidity to take? There was not really any inducement there for that long, I think is what he is saying. Okay, so if we went long right here, right? You're asking why is it valid that we go long here without liquidity to take? Well, would that not be classified as a level of liquidity to take right here? I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like that's inducement, no? Yeah, but it was so far away. So I again, not trying to be a dick, but does it matter how far away it is? Like the bottom line is we have something to induce, right? We're pro trend, pro order flow. To me, it's super, super easy to just see that if we get criteria in here, this is the last interaction between sellers and buyers. We have a level of liquidity to take. That's more than enough for me, right? This ends up sweeping. It also ends up sweeping this, right? Creating inducement here to, yeah, this is a super valid POI. Super, super valid, especially with how strong our trend is, right? This is the level of liquidity to take right here. Doesn't matter how far it is. Let's go down to the 1. Yeah. And if you look at this, that's inducement, no? There's a chalk here. Yeah, no, this is super valid. The other thing, we got the refined POI. You can see that we do have a very small take on, oops, liquidity over here. I'm just going to actually grab, where is my bar replay tool? And what we can do is like this. We're pro trend, pro order flow. So if we hit the extreme refinement in the POI, we can jump on the seconds, right? 1 minute demand. Okay, so let's go down to the 5 seconds, see if there's anything for us to get in. Not really, to be honest. I would say that, like, yeah, if you were super aggressive, you could maybe classify something in here, but like, not really. I mean, I don't want to bend this too much. I don't want to steer you the wrong way. Yeah, that's the flip up here. That's what we're interested in, is something in there. Exactly. So let's go back out to the 1. So there's nothing that you could have caught at the bottom here. That's, yeah, there's nothing to take in here. There's nothing super clear for us to sort of take, right? Up until we see this level kind of break here, right? Like that's the chalk. Okay, so let's go back out to the 1. Again, I'm not trying to backtest or anything. I'm just trying to show you, let's reverse engineer this, right? Build a case study around it. It's essentially what we're doing. So supply, right? We got our SBOSS here, right? So right before this, we have this level, right? Supply. So if we break down and we realign order flow on our lower time frame, we could in fact take a trade, right? So order flow gets realigned right here, right? So essentially we've broken down, we've had the interaction, there's a level of supply that rests right here, right? We have a demand zone that gets created right here. Now, obviously, we're not looking to put limits. We need further confirmations. That's what the 5 second is for, right? So we're just trying to build together a narrative. We want to be able to see equal highs, right? So we've got equals over here. Please put your mic off. We've got equals built all the way across, right? So when this is happening, right, you have to start thinking about, okay, well, what's left unmitigated? Well, your demand zone right here, right? Oops. Just like this. What caused the chalk? It's the extreme, right? Supply takes control of the market, pushes down, right? Shifts order flow technically on the 5 second, realigns, prints equal highs, comes back down, creates equals to be able to target, sweeps, has inducement, right? Everybody understand this? Do we not care that the demand couldn't break the high because we are pro trend? Well, yeah, we're not too worried because like it's not necessarily going to break the high. It needs to print liquidity for us, right, to be able to break the high. So the other option here is to do something like this. And okay, we've basically broken down. We've broken down again. We've created a supply range here, right? Once this breaks out, now we have demand resting like this. Okay, we also have equals to target. We have equals to target. That's your flip. Again, like I didn't trade any of this because I wasn't on the charts. This is the first time I'm looking at it, but I'm saying that this, in my opinion, would be a valid level to get in, given the fact that we have equals. The other only valid area for me to get in would be on this supply zone that gets created, right? So if this supply fails, right, which it does, where does it fail from? Fails from here, right? So if it fails from here, we create equal highs, we create equal highs, create equal highs. You know what I mean? Like that's where when this comes in, like you don't have to set a limit. All you got to do is when this is traveling into here, if you want to get like at least filled into the trade, when we come into this demand range, pull the trigger or put a buy stop above these highs, right? Because ultimately this should just blast right through, right? But you can see the patience required, right? And all the details in the 5 second, right? All the stuff that you can't necessarily see on the 1 minute. So yeah, like valid extreme based on the fact that we've switched order flow. We've liquidated, we've mitigated, right? Now we've come up, we've chalked, and we could have said maybe a flip in here, right? Or maybe another entry in there. Everybody understand? Dave, does that sort of answer the question? This extreme would be valid based on the fact that it's the one that creates the move up to create this liquidity, right? And we have in fact chalked, and we have an unmitigated extreme. We have a level of liquidity to take in the market. Could have been weak, and that's why we would have looked like, honestly, that's why like looking for other confirmations for me is a little bit more important. Could you put a limit here? Technically, yeah, because this is the extreme that causes this to move up. We're very much in bullish order flow, right? Like on the higher time frames, 1 minute, 15. So yeah, like we've already liquidated everything. We don't really have any business kind of coming back down here, especially with the aggression that's come up with the V-shaped recovery. When you say play the decisional, it's this that you're talking about? Which part? Sorry, I've been saying a lot of the different things here. If you want to throw your mic, Afonso.
Yeah, man. Are you hearing me?
Yep.
You say in the flow charts, you say that if the origin below where you, yeah, it made the chalk, you know, right there, exactly. So technically, the extreme made the first chalk, right? So, but sometimes price never returns. So when you say set a limit on the extreme and play decisional, when this is playing decisional, right?
That's right. You're playing the decisional. Exactly.
Okay.
And like you can see the confirmations that need to happen, right? So we tap in, right? We see the change of character right here.
Exactly.
We want to see this extreme get mitigated. So this would be your first limit order, would be right here, right?
Okay.
Based on order flow realigning.
Yeah, I was hoping to like for price to come back to the origin, because I don't know, maybe I'm not used to the seconds, you know, but
for sure.
I'm starting to understand.
This is the important part, what happens in here, right? And the details that needed to be caught was that, okay, we had a supply zone basically sitting in here, okay?
Yeah.
And this is what broke us through that supply zone, right?
Exactly.
And you don't need to put a limit on here. That's the whole purpose of the seconds,
yeah.
Right? We want to confirm what we already see on the 1 minute, right? So here's the chalk. This is left unmitigated. Okay, so first limit could be here. That's more of like your aggressive move with the seconds. And then ultimately, supply is right here, pushes down, fails. We have all the liquidity in the world built to fucking move up, right?
And it's funny because today I was backtesting the last week, and it's the same example of 28th of February, the decisional. I was playing the decisional, but the trade was it hit the stop loss, you know, and it came back to the origin. It's funny. Yeah. Sometimes it plays, sometimes it don't.
Sometimes it plays, but it depends on how much liquidity is built up. And the other thing that needs to be considered is how much did we just take? We just snapped into here, right? Came up, we mitigated, we failed to take out the low. So these highs are weak, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
It's all the same shit, just a different time frame.
Exactly.
You have to revolve this entire trade idea around that 15-minute structure. Everything that we're talking about here revolves around 15-minute structure, right?
Yeah, and then you have to also adapt don't marry the bias of the origin, and
that's right.
You need to adapt.
And don't be scared to take an L on a pro structure move with pro order flow, right? Like that's cool.
Yeah.
If this comes down, runs equals, then we just do the same thing, right? Now we're looking to see liquidity sort of get built, swept, ideally chalk.
Exactly.
What caused the chalk? Boom, and then we're back to square one, right? Play the decisional, play the extreme.
Exactly. Yeah, I got you, man. Thanks.
Cool.
Thanks.
We're looking at the demand. It came off of this morning. Yeah, exactly. So that's the demand that we kind of talked about in the narrative. If you were live or if you watched the recap, but yeah, this is the demand. Here's our level of liquidity to take. Okay, we get a reaction to this bigger demand level, pushes up, gives us a level to induce, come back up. We got the failed supply right here. And then basically we're playing in this zone right here because order flow is suggesting new highs. And you can just see the V-shaped recovery, right? The aggression. Simple. Try to keep it like pro trend, pro order flow, man. These are the best fucking trades. Like honestly, like, and I mentioned this at the beginning, we should just take counter trend shit out altogether, especially from like a, an educator's perspective. It's really tough to teach that stuff. This is the sauce right here. This is the easiest trades to fucking get in. But yeah, don't be scared to play, like, especially after an aggressive sweep like this, you know what I mean? Like, don't be scared to take these decisional areas, right? And then we push right back up, right? We've already swept. We don't really have any business kind of coming down here if there's decisional areas to play. And that's how you correlate that seconds chart. Okay. Everybody understand? 1 yes, 2 no. Happy to answer questions. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's not it's the details, right? Can you go back to the lower time frame? Yeah. It's all in the details. Go ahead, Willis. The second one. This one? Can you go over how you mark that zone? Like this guy right here, you're talking about this, like the second position? Yeah. So we've got a break right here, right? We've got a break right here. So we've got substructure supply, right? So if supply controls the market from here, right? This is our supply zone that rests right here like this. If that fails, then that means that we've now confirmed the switch, right? We've already confirmed the switch down here, but if supply fails from here and then comes back down into mitigate, and we have equal highs built right here and equal highs built right here, this is our valid flip zone. Same with this. Like, I mean, like there's so many different ways to get into this. We break down right here, we break down right here, right? Supply is created, demand is respected. It's the same shit. It's all like interaction, buyers and sellers. Sellers can't outweigh the buyers, right? And when they start proving that, then that's the areas that we want to look. Does that clear things up? Cool. And this is all revolved around, like, we have a unmitigated, and this is just where patience really kicks in, right? Like, allow these things to develop. 5 second, right? Like there's no need to rush it. Once we start having this sort of accumulation schematic or this choppiness, you got to start to pick up the details. What's going on, right? What needs to fail for me to get in, and where did we fail from? This is all hindsight, guys. I wish I could provide a little bit more context, but I didn't trade this, right? So I can't really walk you through the emotions that I would have went through just because I didn't actually trade it. So,
Ty, can I talk just one more time, please? Yeah. Can you go back to the seconds? Sometimes in the yeah. Sometimes in the flow chart, there's is like all the options and 5-second sweep, 5-second shock and everything. And sometimes it all aligns, but there's no liquidity to take and to targets. So when that happens, you probably shouldn't be putting a trade, right?
So yeah, exactly. And like that's kind of like the short answer. And like if I can expand on it a little bit, and I kind of mentioned this a little bit yesterday, is like picture that flow chart as like an objective checklist. These are like the mandatory things that need to happen, right? For us to even like consider getting into a trade. From there, it's about building out, okay, well, we have all of these things. Is there liquidity to support my move? And like all of these targets, all of these things that like we have to remember, our objective here is to run the week 15-minute high. Is there something to support our move, right? And that needs to build on all time frames to be able to, because when you trade the seconds, the idea is that you're the last guy, right? So the last guy to be able to get in, this is the sniper entry. Fuck all this stuff. This is nothing. The sniper entry is right here before we move through, right? So yeah, waiting for liquidity to build in our direction and waiting for it to have already been taken, which is right here. These are the areas, right?
Yeah, but I'm seeing like the trade before, on the left. Yeah, right there. It adds some liquidity to take and to target, because above you have some equal highs, right?
Right. So this could have been your first limit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. What causes the chalk, right? Here's your chalk.
The extreme.
And a mitigated extreme. No issues putting a limit here.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. Thanks,
Sweep
man.
in. Cool. Thanks, man. Can I jump out now? Yeah, go for it, Chris.
You got me, Tyson?
I do.
Okay, perfect. Hey, can you jump to the 15-minute for a second? So after the the morning call with the New York Narrative, I had a supply zone marked above that was roughly at about 1.10086.
Like over here?
Yeah. So that zone above, if we talked about it it was a 1 hour on the morning call, but yeah, right around there. So that came across as my supply.
Okay.
And then if you jump to the 1 minute around,
like in here, you mean?
Yeah, so that's my supply. So back to present time. So come over to the right.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So fast forward your price action, and right around like a little bit after 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern, there was a massive 1 minute candle that was like 20 pips in volume.
Okay.
That completely blasted through that supply zone.
Yeah, there was a news. Sorry, no, this wasn't news. This was right before news. Yeah. Okay.
It was like 10:08. It was like a 25 pip 1 minute candle that like blasted through that supply zone. And before that news happened, before whatever triggered that candle happened, it was respecting the supply zone and it was chalking, and I got in on a short met all the criteria. But then, that massive spike just completely took me out. And then that sort of affected the psychology moving forward.
Okay. So
can you just look at that on the 1 minute and just comment on that for me?
Let's do it. So so let's go down to the 1 minute. So first of all, in order for us to take a counter trend trade, the first piece of the pie is that we need a valid supply zone, right? So we could argue that this is a valid supply zone over to the left, like there is supply there. It's understood. Now, on the flow chart, for a counter trend move, we need to see a 15-minute chalk, right? So,
right. Yeah.
I just, and again, not to discredit your idea, don't get me wrong. I took fucking 3 losses here on expectational order flow to take out this high. So don't think I'm busting your chops or anything, but can you show me where there would be a chalk here.
No, there's no 15-minute. I was like on the very lower time frame, but I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying, right? So we both had the same problem today where we didn't follow the plan. That's all it really boiled down to, right?
Yeah.
There was nothing to take, and man, appreciate you coming forward, because I'm sure tons of people did the same fucking thing today. And yeah, what probably triggered this for most of us is the fact that we didn't get in here, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You're chasing tops, but we don't have an entry model that chases tops. We have something that switches order flow to be able to confirm that we are going to in fact come lower. We don't have that, right? There was nothing that triggered the idea for a counter trend flowchart today. Shouldn't have even been, nothing should have been pulled up until, like, ultimately, like, this is clean, man. Like there's like, I mean, we could argue that maybe this is like a supply to demand flip right here. Unless that broke, like, even if that broke, it didn't really matter, because the structure is going to hold the market from here. We shouldn't even be worried about what's going on up here. At this point, if we're coming this deep in the leg, we should be looking for the longs, right?
For sure. Yeah.
You understand though? Like, I mean, again, not trying to bust your balls here. Like I said, I fucked up my session pretty bad today too. So as long as everybody understands that, like counter trend moves are always going to be the least likely. You just got to be patient enough to let yourself allow for these pro trend moves, man. And like, that's all it boils down to. So for us, it's really simple. We had a flip zone that takes liquidity right here, right? That's the only area that was valid to trade from. We didn't even make it down here. I think we reacted to this wick. So there's nothing tradable for us today. If we traded in New York, if you were on early, you could have got into something here, but you would have had to watch this whole 120 pip move happen without you. That's okay. C'est la vie, man. Come back tomorrow. Thanks for your question, man. I appreciate that.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Awesome. Now, on the topic of these supply regions, okay, is there a supply region in here? Yes, we did have a break of structure to a certain degree. Now, if we look at the 4 hour, we can basically see where the most recent structure break was. I would say that the most recent structure break was really in here. That basically gives us levels to induce, kind of come up into this area that takes liquidity, this area that takes liquidity. So really, we should only be enticed into the market to look for these trades up in here, right? I'm going against the bullish 15-minute trend. We'll get into that tomorrow when we do a live trading event and talk about that a little bit more. So I'll just talk about this really quick. All of the silly mistakes that I took, sorry, that I did in here. What's going on here? And yeah, oops. Okay, get rid of all that. Yes. Imagine taking a short here. What a fucking dummy. Oh boy, it's embarrassing, but it's necessary to show you guys, because yeah, it is what it is. So I wanted this to be a strong high so bad because I missed out on this. There's really nothing to show. Like, it's almost embarrassing. So my losses came in here. So we tapped in. Let me go down to the 5 second. So I got in. Where did I get in? So I waited on. So I saw a chalk right here. chalk. And I ended up getting in on this when it chopped down and came back up in, I believe is where I got in. You know, just swinging for the fences on counter trend stuff that didn't even make sense. But I just want to be transparent. I want to show you guys it's normal. It's normal to take losses. The important part here is that the one rule that I did follow is that I have a 3 loss limit. Okay. And you need to have at least something to limit your losses. Do not sit here glued to the fucking 5 second chart. If you lose 3 in a row on the 5 second, chances are you're on the wrong side of the market. You know what I mean? Like it's inevitable at this point. Order flow is suggesting a new high, and I just wanted it so badly to not. So the next trade I took, I believe, was on this chalk. Once we took this high, me still thinking that the supply was valid. So I got in here. This started to move on me, and I was like, "Yay, serotonin!" You know what I mean? And this last one that I ended up taking, I want to say was, yeah, right here. So I ended up getting tagged out on this guy. No, what? Is that what it was? Oh, guys, I can't remember, and I got rid of all my drawings. But anyway, somewhere along the lines of this right here. And then we had liquidity printed. So I thought this was going to move further in. Oh, I got in right here. That's right, on this flip, thinking that like I'm just chasing it at this point, right? Just chasing it, trying to get it to come into these equals and tap into this liquidity. So yeah, it's embarrassing, to be honest with you, but I will always show you guys my losses. I have no issues doing that because I want to show you what it looks like to violate rules and not trade your plan and what it ends up doing and how it ends up fucking up your whole day. Lost this one too. This was a good day to illustrate how well it works to operate outside of the rules of the strategy. That's right, serotonin, LMO. Yeah, so that's it, man. Like, full transparency, I had a pretty awful session. I mean, didn't really affect me too much psychologically. I wasn't like pissed off or anything. I was just gonna like, like I knew why I was taking the sells, and it was because I missed the longs. But I had no business looking for sells on expectational order flow taking out the week M15 high. So yeah, just wanted to show everybody, and yeah, hopefully we can learn as a community from that. And that's basically it. Any questions to kind of close this out? Do you guys like? I'm sure the answer is going to be yes, but leave a one in the comments if it is a yes. Do you want to continue doing these daily trade recaps of like win, loss, or draw every single day so that you guys can just see where I make mistakes, where I do good things, where I do bad things? Cool.
111.
Yeah. You know what? A lot of people don't have the, not that they don't have the balls to do it, but it takes a lot out of you to admit your faults. And I think it's really important to do that as a community. And that's really where I kind of want to stand out from, XYZ Mentor, is make you guys realize that losing is a part of this. My win rate, I'm going to be completely honest with you, ranges from anywhere from 30% all the way up to 60, 65% sometimes. But I'll tell you right now, win rate really doesn't matter as long as you're taking L's on winning trading ideas. This is a violation of the flow chart. This will probably happen to me once every couple of weeks, and it's normal, but have a cutoff. That's what the most important thing to do here is say, you know what, 3 losses, I think 3 losses is a good level, especially if you're only risking 0.5% per trade. That's 1.5% plus your spreads commissions. That's 2%. Okay, you'll never violate drawdown like that. But you just need to be disciplined enough to say, like, you know what, I was on the wrong side of the market. I didn't follow the flow chart. I'm a fucking dummy, and away we go. Give me a sec. I'm going to go through the question. Who has a question here? Okay, John. So on that note of anticipating that liquidity to get tapped, it's been a process for me to start paying attention to liquidity without discarding the importance of the structure. Exactly. I appreciate the transparency. Absolutely, man. One way to do it. I have a question, Alfonso. Man, you're going to have a 1 question limit there moving forward.
Sorry, man. Just want to get everything straight. Can you, not regarding today's price action, but can you explain a little bit more what is a V-shaped recovery in terms of price action, please?
Right here. It's an aggressive move that immediately breaks structure, right? To solidify a chalk.
Okay.
That's it. It's like that aggression to show that there's intent in the market to change order flow.
Oh, that's what I thought it was. Okay, yep. Just wanted to confirmation.
People call, you know what, V-shaped recovery is really all it really is. If you know what to change it, like, I don't even want to use change of character anymore because that's not really our thing. I want to start using order flow shift is what I want to start classifying it as, because an order flow shift is an aggressive move that takes out the opposing direction, right? Like that's what it is. V-shaped recovery is Phantom's thing. I don't really want to be using anybody else's terminology. Order flow shift is kind of how I want to start labeling this. This is a shift in the interaction between buyers and sellers.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks, dude. This is pure gold. My man, Carlo. Thank you, dude. You're super helpful. I have a quick question on the flowchart. Chris, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. So on the ProTrend flowchart,
Okay.
I know the purpose of the flowchart in the counter order flow section is to get us pro order flow. I get that. But there's a question on the left that says, are we counter or pro order flow? If we say counter and we go down to the left, have we hit the extreme refinement within the POI?
Yes.
If you answer yes, you're in the extreme refinement and we go down, shouldn't we only be looking at the refined areas section, not the 15-minute POI section?
So if your counter order, the way that that's designed is if we are like, let's say we're in the extreme refinement here, the idea is like, obviously this is pro order flow, but let's say it was counter. The idea behind this is that we don't want to see a seconds because we're fighting order flow. We want to be able to basically see a 1 minute order flow shift. And we're just bumping up a time frame because if we have order flow betting against us, the bare minimum requirement at the extreme is to be able to see a 1 minute shift. We can't just use the seconds. What we can do is see the 1 minute shift and then confirm that shift with the seconds in the POI.
Okay, so just to make sure I'm following you.
Yep.
If we're counter order flow,
Yep.
we have to go through the 15-minute POI steps first because we don't want to get bogged down with the seconds.
Let me show you right now. So let's say this was a counter order flow trade in here. Okay. So we have our 15-minute POI, right? Like this.
Yep.
And then if we go down to a 1 minute, we have an extreme refinement that sits here, right? So in the case that we do not hit this extreme refinement, okay, and let's say we just tapped into here and then we started moving, what do we need to see?
The 15-minute chalk.
Bingo. Now, if we hit this extreme refinement right here, what do we need to see?
That's where I'm confused because the flow chart goes to two different areas.
So
it goes to
so it like the flow chart looks like this, I believe. So we have the if we hit the extreme refinement when we're counter order flow, it comes into the area where it says 15-minute POI, right?
Correct. Yep.
So all this means is that when we hit the extreme refinement while we're counter order flow, we're not taking the extreme refinement route. We're taking the route of the as if it was a 15-minute POI. So that we're basically looking for that 1 minute shift because we have order flow against us. So yeah, it's kind of maybe there's a better way to kind of articulate that in the flow chart. But the idea is that we're treating it as if this is just a 15-minute POI. When we want to be able to see the 1 minute shift, right? Because if we don't see a 1 minute shift when we're just on the seconds, well, we have order flow against us.